So what he said was a lie. So Children Village had a connection where they got me connected with the mayor. Next thing I know, his secretary calling me. I'm flying back to New York. I sit down with the mayor for about 2 hours of just back and forth. I'm not gonna let it stand like that. He said, I'm gonna go back and speak, what I know now. I didn't know this. And that's when he slipped me the paper and showed me that my son had a murder case on his record. But I said, but all the stuff that you said was bullshit. None of that's true. None of it's true. You know what I'm saying?
What did he say that wasn't true?
He said that my son was homeless. He was in and out of shelters his whole life. His mother was in a shelter before, and he was in there, but he didn't have to be.
So basically dismissing him as a homeless teen who joined the gang.
Yeah, there you go. Like he didn't have nothing. His mother wasn't shit. His father wasn't shit. And he was just going crazy.
When actuality, he was a documented ward of the state because he was in juvenile custody as a juvenile.
That's a fact. As a juvenile delinquent.
See the difference?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the state to have to pay that.
Yeah.
They try to push it off on whoever they can push it off on. Who else you push it off on? The kid himself.
Now he was a ward of the state, and with that being said, the agency, the institution,
Yes.
You say did right.
Children Village.
Yeah, they did. They did right by you guys.
I'm gonna be honest to you. That's when he started to change him back to my son. When he got to that facility, they had him going to school, going to church. He doing programs. He working. He doing different things. He playing basketball again. My son was I'm gonna send you everything.
But he coming back home to that environment.
Coming home on the weekends.
He coming back home to that environment.
There you go.
Man, once you spend 3 days back there, come back here, spend 5 days. Them 3 days superseding these 5 days.
That's right. Because the shit that you could do in them 2 days
man.
right there.
Come on, man. You cannot let them go back into that environment once you take them out.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile with the street code, right? So, like for example, and again, my condolences to you. My condolences to you for your son, for your brother. Just everything.
Mom,
right?
everybody, homie. Lost mama, brother, son.
Yeah. How do you reconcile with? Because you trying to solve for the murder, right? Mm-hmm. And you know that the streets know what's really happening. Mm-hmm. But the streets code is no snitching, right? Mm. But you want to find out who killed your son or who lined your son up, right?
We ain't gonna sugarcoat shit.
Huh?
We ain't gonna sugarcoat shit. I'm 40 years old. I'll be 40 in February.
Right.
There is no snitch code in the street. Snitching is when you tell on somebody to get out of a crime that you committed. I didn't commit a crime. So therefore, if a motherfucker have to tell anything that's pertaining to my son, I'm gonna do it. And they can take it however they want. See, I got other kids to live for as well. So yeah, I battle myself every day not to get up and go burn New York down. I do every day. Mm-hmm. Every day is a hell of a fight. Fighting yourself is the worst fight you can ever have, especially when you fighting yourself for this reason. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's the worst you can ever go through in your life. Getting up every morning, knowing that you have the means to go burn that shit down, and you don't. So what you have to do is you have to understand, I got a kid on the way, on the 20th of next month, my last kid, my daughter, she'll be born. I have a 22-year-old daughter. I have an 18-year-old son. I have a 9-year-old. I have a 9 and a 14-year-old that live in my house right now, and my baby on the way that's there. Those are girls. I have other kids to live for. So now you go crash out. Who raised them girls? That's going to be on my daughter playing daddy to my daughter.
Yeah.
My girls. So you have to balance reality to what you want to do. Yeah, you might want to do this, but what's the outcome of it? So what you have to do is you have to play by the rules, the civilized rules, the rules that they want us to play by.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind playing by because I'm at an age now where that shit don't mean nothing to me no more.
Well, see, for me, it's the reason why I asked that question. For me, and see, I don't consider myself a street dude, right? I don't consider myself to ever have been a street dude, even though I may have been raised in environments where the streets was prevalent. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's a little different because I never had to play by the same rules that you had to play by when you was coming up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm trying to figure out like what your mindset is, considering that, you had to play by these rules.
I'm a civilian now.
Right.
I walk around with a state ID working for the state. I got concealed carry license to carry firearms anywhere I go. I got all type of certificates to work with the juvenile system. I won't trade that in to be a felon again. I wouldn't trade that to be a street nigga again.
Yeah.
I don't live by them rules no more. There is no loyalty in the streets. There is no rules to the streets. The streets have no rules. And when people realize that, they'll be better. You're trying to make rules. We have morals in the street, but people try to put rules in ways of living in the street. There's no rules in the street. That's why when a nigga kill you, Al Poor and Rich Porter, why y'all so mad? That's what they do in the street. A nigga your girl in the street. Would you mad if this is what they do in the street? So when you play in the street, you play them rules. I don't play by them.
You been so real, homie.
Yeah. And I appreciate you for that.
Let's just keep it. You my kind of daddy, right? So you the type of dad I am. Say, dad, she fucking my partner. That's what go on in the streets. You was that real with your son. Them type of conversations.
Yep.
Right. So even up until his demise, you was real enough to tell his mama and your wife, this what come with this life.
I was able to tell my wife that, but I haven't mustered up enough to tell his mother, listen, this come with the bullshit. This come with the territory. And only because of her feelings. My wife, she's more of, we together. She know me. She know I ain't gonna sugarcoat shit with her. But I told her this before it happened.
What about his brothers and sisters? What do you tell them?
The truth.
Because you know,
this is what happens in the street, and this is what's gonna happen to any of y'all if y'all play in the street. So therefore, if y'all don't want this to happen to you, and you don't want your family to go through what we're going through right now, don't do this.
What do you tell other kids?
The same thing. My son died in the streets doing this and that. And if you continue to do this, or if you choose to go out there and do the same things in the street, you're gonna end up in a cell, or you're gonna end up dead just like my son.
You even told me your son should have been in jail for that murder.
Yes. If he killed somebody, if my son killed them, yes, he's supposed to be in jail for it. Yes, he was. So and I would have rather visit him there.
And that's without the cameras on, that's the cameras off. This in private conversation. This what this father said, nah man, my son should have been locked up for murder.
Yeah.
If they knew he had that murder, and he should have been locked up.
Yeah. Because
just like the person who killed him should be locked up.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I want justice for my son. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he got a murder case. That family gonna want justice for that family, for that son, and so on and so on. You got to be fair.
Well, hold on. See, let me ask a question really quickly. Is that in hindsight because of what happened? Because you as a father, you know, like you were saying, you would do anything for your kid to make sure that your kid was all right, right? Yep. And you know that he was living his life. He was a stepper, right? But then at the same time, you didn't want to lose him, and you was, you still wanted to make sure that he was taken care of, and so on and so forth, right? Let's rewind and let's assume that, he going through the process and maybe he hasn't been convicted or he hasn't been on trial or whatever, and so on and so forth, right? Do you still advocate for him to be free, or do you say, yo, you know what, you need to sit down for a minute, or you need to sit down for however long you need to sit down?
Truth be told,
not knowing what's gonna come on the other side of it, though, right?
He's fighting it, or he's running from it, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Honest truth, I tell him to go. Keep running. Let them do their job.